Shalom, peace, love, unity consciousness to you all. This is Deep Astrology. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And welcome. Moon and Gemini transit. Moon currently is in its last degree of Taurus. Moving into Gemini. Moving into Gemini. From the 27th through the 29th. Okay. So let's get a read for the Moon in Gemini for the next couple of days. Death. The Chariot. Two major arcana coming out so far. Okay. For some reason, I feel the urge to say that respect and honor is due. And I just started to hear this song in my head by Ty Dolla $ign. It's called Credit. And it goes, won't you give a nigga some credit? What credit is due? Give a nigga some credit. Give a nigga some credit. What credit is due? Why am I hearing that song? Why am I hearing that song? Okay. So for the moon cycle through Gemini. So Gemini is mutable air. Mutable air. Detached. Lighthearted. Free-flowing. Inquisitive. Questioning. Creative. Forceful. And with that being said, we want to look at that element. We want to look at the element of air and how we can utilize air and what the air is trying to usher us into, what the air is ushering us into. Okay. The moon is going to be making an opposition to Jupiter, which is retrograde. Which is interesting because this will be the last opposition that the moon makes to Jupiter before Jupiter ends its retrograde, which is August 12th or August 14th, I believe. We won't have any opposition to Jupiter and the moon after that. So like there's this energy of, the way I'm feeling it, as the final curtain call. The final curtain call. Okay? The final call. It's like the final call. It's like when the moon goes through Gemini, we get a chance to advance. We get a chance to really march forward in our truth, because we'll have the air helping us, you know, the social, we'll have the social bug, we'll have that childlike angst, that inquisitiveness, that very free, lighthearted, explorative, very developmental, formative aspect, okay? The moon is going to be making sextiles to the sun, which is in Leo, Mars, which is in Leo. And yeah, those are the major aspects right now. Oh, as well as a square to Neptune, right? So it's almost this point of, I'm hearing it as a point of reference. Point of reference for many of you. Ace of Swords coming out. And so what I'm feeling into, you guys, is a change of fate. A change of fate, or fate striking. It's like there's an opportunity to really, really, strike while the iron is hot. Okay. So with the Death card and the Chariot, these are two major arcana cards. This represents Scorpio. This represents Cancer. So water energy. Now this is an air card. This is Swords. So this is about air. This is about mental advancement. This is about a choice being fully one with source consciousness. There's this feeling of having to make a choice now. A choice that is rooted in more compassion for your whole self. It's a more deeply rooted conversation, a more deeply rooted intention. And how do I say this? Almost like this much more guarded indwelling, this informing well of wealth and self-worth. When the moon passes through Gemini, we'll have an opportunity to advance ourselves. It'll give us an advantage. It'll give us the airy flow, the mutable flow that helps us to really attack things, if you guys can understand this, from the proper angle. Okay, so we won't be rooted in emotion. We'll be operating like, we'll feel this emotional move. Like it's almost like this emotional, very, very sensitive type of just motive that is springing from us. Like this motive, this new choice. It's almost like we see our options. You understand what I'm saying? When the moon goes through Gemini, we see things in a totally new way. It's like, with the Death card, this is transformation. This is about letting things go. This is about letting even past life issues, current, this also has to do with Uranus energy too. Just certain disruptions. I'm feeling it as disruptions and breakthroughs. This feels like a breakthrough. With the Chariot, there's forward movement. There's just this brand new motivation, this new spiritual, deep, emotional motivation and force that is almost forcing us to face ourselves in a new light. For many of you, it's about challenging yourself to change. Challenging yourself to change and to fulfill your purpose. While the moon is passing through Gemini, we'll be able to chit-chat it up. Click-clack, more social cues, It's lighthearted. It's airy. It's free. We don't have to take things so seriously because everything is not what it seems at first. Everything is not what it seems at face value. So the way that we gauge things, the way that we relate, the way that we interact, the way that we're working to get work done and to advance has something to do with the skill. You know, when you're talking about the third house of Gemini, you're talking about a skill. You know, nurturing a skill, nurturing this navigation, you know, forming a perspective, forming a vision, forming a belief, forming a habit. So there is this feeling of self-determination that can push itself through. And I keep hearing it as challenge, choice, and change. And for Gemini, when I did the Gemini reading for the month, that was the title of their July video, was challenge, choice, and change. Okay? So, with that being said, the moon in Gemini is going to give us a choice. Like we have more options. I think it's like we're almost able to see the options that we have, you know, with the Chariot. This is about progress, progressing forward, finding strength, finding courage, finding the will, the inner will to move forward. But we also have to be willing. You know, it's about being willing to change your story, being willing to go to the next level, because you need to. You know, when you have the Death card and the Chariot coming up, these both represent water signs. So these are areas of life that are much more private, much more secret, much more intuitively based, much more internal, much more psychological as well. And then with the Ace of Swords, lets you know that you have the green light, that the field is open, that you can take a chance on yourself. You can take a chance on what you know logically to be true, what you know logically as well as psychically. You know, it's about making a logical decision based off of necessity, and allowing the universe to push you in a direction that you must go. For many of you, you know, this could be the very energy that you've been waiting for. You understand what I'm saying? This energy can clear a lot. Like, I feel like a lot of karma will be cleared over the next couple of days as we are coming up to this new moon in Leo, which I am going to do a video for. But there's this opportunity to change and to transcend. This is about transcendence. This is about transcending the ego. This is about transcending the attachment of the soul, transcending certain attachments, transcending attachments. You guys are going to understand that Gemini is not attached. It's mutable air. You know, it's mutable. It's ever-changing, forming perspective, growth. There's an energy of growth, real growth taking place, real growth and evolution while the moon is going through Gemini. So 2 of Cups, 5 of Wands. Okay. So there's a focus. Okay, so opportunity to, you know, form a soulmate connection, form a new connection. I also feel like for many of you, you're wanting to break ties. You know, you're wanting to break ties with certain people. 5 of Wands. Oops, excuse me. ego battles, arguments, feeling out of alignment. This is going to help us to come into greater alignment for our true selves, for our true purpose, so that we can accept and receive the love that we desire. So with being detached from certain things, you gain more awareness of what you do have or what is available to you, what partnerships, what connections can be made, because it'll be more based from the heart than anything else, than attachment, okay? There's this childlike wonder that we're invested in. And it serves us right. So Moon and Gemini is going to help us to get more connected to the self. And it's just going to bring us new understanding. That's what I'm feeling very strongly, is new understanding. Understanding your path, understanding where you've been, and understanding now the options that you have to go. So for many of you who have been waiting on maybe a promotion, who have been waiting for things just to be over, certain relationships, certain karmic contracts, it's over now. You know? And it's time for you to drive your life. Moon and Gemini will give us an opportunity to redirect our purpose, redefine our purpose, redefine it, come into greater alignment with what it is we want, what it is our vision is. And also making the right connections, making the right connections as well. With the Two of Cups, about, usually making a soulmate connection, or meeting a friend, or, just finding someone that vibrates on the same level as you. Five of Wands is about conflicts, arguments, ego battles. And now it's time to make room for what really, really matters in your life. Making room for what really matters. Going for what it is to be true to your soul, to the core of you, your soul essence. And leading with that and going for blood, in a sense, Wanting to separate from certain attachments, certain storylines, so that you can be your greatest self. If it's not in your future, if it's not, looking like your future, if what you're holding on to doesn't look like the future that you're trying to create, you need to let it alone, child. Let it alone. Get out of your feelings and come into greater alignment. Woman up and man up. Point blank, period. That's where the cookie crumbles. So Moon and Gemini is going to help us. It's going to give us that extra, it's going to give us that extra motivation. It's going to help us to see and want to explore and inquire and be social and form more perspectives. Taking a walk. I'm telling you guys. Things as simple as going outside to take a walk around the block. Breathing in that prana will help you to gain that new perspective. And to overcome, with the Chariot, we have the Ace of Swords. It's about really getting rooted in navigating, not even navigating, but leading forward with knowledge and source consciousness. Knowing all the right information. Feeling prepared, preparation. It's like, this preparation, feeling prepared. you know, preparing for the best, you know. We all want the best, you know. What happened in the past, as much as it may have awakened you and put you on the path to your success, that was not the whole journey. This is about starting a brand new journey, a brand new task, a brand new revelation about your path forming. And this can come through the form of people. This may, you know, I think this energy will facilitate some conflict as well, you know, some differences in opinion, some different viewpoints. It's going to help you gather your team as well, gather your people. It's going to help you. It's just going to help us to, it's going to help to, you know, it's going to help our personal expression. You know, you got to think the air and then the sextile to all the fire energy. There's inspiration, you know, there's engaging in certain conversation, talking about yourself, talking about your projects, talking about what you're doing, talking about what it is you believe in, you know, what you connect to on a deep level, you know. And I'm feeling like many people these next couple of days while the moon is passing through Gemini will manifest their soul tribe. They'll manifest soul unions, soul mates, angels, different guides. People will be there for you if you want them to be. If you want them to be. So, this is the moon in Gemini. I hope this was clear, concise, and helps you to advance on your path. Shalom, peace to you all. Peace, love, and light. I'll be back with the new moon and Leo video. And of course, you know, as soon as the moon goes into Cancer, we're going to discuss that as well. So, much love.